Hey, Confessions of a Paper Addict VIPs. Welcome to my channel for International Scrapbook Day. I am so excited that my first project and video for the Confessions of a Paper Addict design team gets to be for International Scrapbook Day. I'm so excited to be able to spend some time with all of you on International Scrapbook Day. So I hope you are getting scrappy this weekend and taking some time to play. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope you will find lots of inspiration here, and if you're a current subscriber or one of my longtime subscribers, welcome back. Happy International Scrapbook Day, and I hope that you like this fun challenge and that you will give it a try on your layout today. I will love to see what you guys post on the Facebook group. Be sure to tag me and give me a shout if you create a layout for this challenge. I will be hanging out there over the weekend, and so definitely look forward to hearing from you guys. So with all of that said, here is the challenge. So the challenge is called Show Me Some Texture, which is exactly like it sounds, which is I want to see you add some texture to your layouts. And when I say texture, I don't just mean add it to your background, but do something different in backing your cut file maybe. Add some texture to how you're going to back your cut file. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to show you a few examples or some ideas, and then we are going to speed up the video and I'm going to do a quick process and put a layout together showing some, adding some texture to our backgrounds and our layouts, and then I will have that posted on the Facebook group as well as this video that obviously you've hopped to will all be out there for you. And so the first thing I'm going to show you is this layout I created for the Confessions of a Paper Addict birthday hop that happened a month or two ago, I think it was. And so this is a great illustration of a way to add that texture. I obviously have mixed media, which is its own level of texture to my background. But when I talk about adding texture to your cut files, you can see a couple of ideas here. You can see which is, I know, very popular. These are probably two of the most popular ways, other than just with a piece of pattern paper. But we have sequins backing our cut files, or you can make a shaker or anything like that. Adds a different level of interest and texture. This, I layered all of these sequins up, so it's very textured when you rub your hands over it, all of these sequins. And I added them also to the hat. But then, in addition to just backing my little penguin, I call him, with some pattern papers, I also went ahead and did some, now this is glitter paste, but you could use texture paste or anything like that, and added this fun glitter paste to white cardstock and backed both part of his hat and his belly with that, so that again, when you rub your hand over it, you can definitely feel the texture. So that's a great way to add, again, texture to our cut files. Sorry, I'm just going to move a few things. And so those are one idea that I have, and then I have just a cut file and a couple of examples, and I know you guys are all super creative, so I know you're going to come up with tons of different ideas. I wanted to just show a few at the start of this video that you can do more than just adding a mixed media sort of element as texture behind your cut files, and that I would show you a few other things that you could think about using, and you guys, I'm sure, will come up with tons of other ideas. So what I am going to say is for a lot of these, I wouldn't necessarily do super intricate cut files to back using these ideas. Some of them I don't think would work perfectly to cut little tiny areas apart. I think because of the medium that it wouldn't actually back very well, but if you were doing like a full background cut file, you could certainly use any of these ideas to back the entire sort of background of your layout and then put a cut file over top. But for pieces like this, for example, I have a cut file. This is, I believe, I'm going to get the name right, floral pear, I think. I will link it down below in the description box, but this is a cut file from Confessions of a Paper Addict. It's this beautiful floral, and I'm actually going to use this floral on my layout today. But I had cut an extra one so I could use it as an example. And here is an idea for adding some texture. This is just a piece of scrap paper. I went ahead and grabbed some ribbon. Now, would I necessarily use these two together? Maybe. But I just wanted to give an example. So I have just some ribbon here, and I have my cut file. And as you can see, if I put that floral over top, now what I would do is, go and trace it and then cut it out and then back it. But I think it gives you the idea that through that cut file, this would be the texture you'd be given. So this is one where I'm saying I don't think I would do something super intricate with ribbon as a backing for the cut file if I was going to cut the individual pieces out and glue them on the back of the cut file. I think this one, because it's larger, this would work, and it wouldn't fray, and it wouldn't be really hard to cut that ribbon. Once you've got it glued down, I can cut this ribbon pretty easily with scissors, but you'd have to be careful with that. Now, if I had this as a background pattern paper, or like lined up on a background piece of paper, and I just laid a cut file on top, that would work perfectly. You wouldn't have to worry about any sort of hard to cut edges and things like that. But I definitely think that this adds a really fun and interesting texture behind your cut file. So this was one option. You could always go with something different other than mixed media, like ribbon. You could also use crepe paper. So this is sort of those streamer things that you get at the party supply stores. You can certainly pleat that all up and then go ahead and back your cut files with that. That obviously is going to give you some really great texture. And this same concept, I didn't pull out a piece to show you, but this same concept would be perfect with tissue paper. If you have tissue paper, just go ahead, and I'll use crepe paper as an example, but obviously your tissue paper is going to be flat, but if you crumple it all up, that'll give you a great texture with that tissue paper. And you could certainly glue it onto a piece of cardstock and then mat your or back your cut file with that tissue paper, and that in and of itself will give a great texture to the background. If you want to keep it really simple, you can always back your cut file with even a vellum. Is another way. A vellum is a different texture than just a flat piece of pattern paper, and so that also gives a bit of texture to your cut files as well. So another option, like I said, is tissue paper or crepe paper, which is a fun option. This, I think you could, as long as your cut file was not too intricate, you could definitely cut this out, especially this floral, for example, and back that cut file. Should be pretty easy. You just want to make sure that it's glued down really well so that it's not popping up, but that is another example. And then my third example that I have before we go ahead and put a layout together is this piece of scrap paper, which is just a piece of white cardstock left over. I went to my scrap bin, and while I was sort of sitting and watching YouTube videos, I just ripped pieces of pattern paper, layered them all up. Now I just picked a couple of patterns for this one. This was just going to be an example, but I layered them all up. I tore them so that they don't have a perfect edge, and I ruffled them up a little bit, and then I just glued them all down. So this has definitely a texture to it, right? It's got the edges that have been distressed because I tore the edges, and so this here all layered up like that. And then you can take it and you can, for example, this is green, so I can then back, say, the leaves of this cut file with this piece of sort of, I want to say, collaged pattern paper piece of white cardstock that I've played with here. And once I back my cut files, you're going to see different pieces of those collaged background pages that I put together. You're going to see that come through the cut file, and it's going to give its own sort of shading of color because I'm obviously not using all the same color of scrap paper, and plus I have the distressed edges, so you're going to have this sort of textural element because all these pattern papers have the distressed edge and they're not perfectly flat, and so you're going to get that texture that's going to come through your little open areas of your cut file. So that was another idea. So it's a great way to use up scraps of pattern papers as a different way to back your cut file. And for our layout today, I am actually going to use this idea to go ahead and back the 2 cut files of this same floral that I'm going to use on my page today. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to jump over and speed up this video and do a voiceover to walk us through putting a layout together that's going to give us some texture in a different way other than mixed media for our backing cut files and our layout. So I will see you in just a sec. Okay, so we are ready to put this layout together, and I'm just showing you my completed cut files, and they are so fun with those collage pattern papers. I love how they turned out. I highly recommend giving this a try. They turn out really fun and so much texture. I absolutely love it. Now, because my challenge is show me some texture, I did want to add some texture to the actual background of my layout. However, I did not want to pull out mixed media. I wanted to add some texture in a different way other than adding some mixed media to my background. So I decided to pull out my crepe paper, and I pulled out this white crepe paper and a white piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to go ahead here and pleat up some of this crepe paper on about maybe a little bit more than 1/3 of this 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. So I'm going to do 2 on camera, and I will finish the 3rd one off camera, but this adds some perfect texture to my background without having to get messy with any sort of mixed media and waiting for things to dry. I'm able to just put this down and get my layout completed without having to wait for any of the mixed media, but yet I still get this fun textured background. So I really love this. And it really makes a really fun texture on the background of your page. So if you haven't ever tried this, it's really something I would recommend trying, especially if you're not a mixed media person or you don't want to take the time to do it. It's a great way to add that texture. Now I'm just going to bring in my florals, and my florals, I'm going to use them over top of both the crepe paper and part of the pink tone-on-tone polka dot pattern paper that I have there on my background. And to cover up the seam, I have the florals there, but the top and bottom of the seam are still showing. So I did decide to take this Maggie Holmes washi tape and place it on some white cardstock, and I'm going to use that then almost like a piece of pattern paper, and it is going to cover the seam where my crepe paper and this pink polka dot pattern paper meet up. And so that's a perfect way to use your washi. If you don't want it to be transparent, put it on some white cardstock and it will be just like a piece of pattern paper. It is perfect. I use that little trick all of the time. So now that I know where my florals are going to go and I have my background laid out and it is all ready to go with its texture, I am now going to start working on my photo. And basically I'm going to map my photo 3 times with most of these pattern papers are actually from the Maggie Holmes Garden Party collection. I am using my How to Kill a Kit with Style for the month of May, and so you guys are getting a bit of a sneak peek because the video for my kit doesn't go up till tomorrow, so you guys get to see ahead of time that I am using the Maggie Holmes Garden Party collection, and I think it is perfect. The pattern papers that I backed my cut file with were not from this collection. They were patterns that I pulled from my scrap bin. And so I just made sure that all of the colors matched the pattern papers that are in the Garden Party collection, and I absolutely adore how this whole layout came together. It is so fun. I can't wait. I will definitely be doing this technique again. Now that I have my photo all backed, I am going to start to work on both my title, and apart from my title, I do add just a little tiny bit of extra embellishment to this page, but for the most part, I really wanted that textural element of those cut files and the crepe paper on my background. I really wanted that to stand out and really take center stage on this page, and so I really don't add a whole lot extra to this page, as you're going to see. I will tell you that my title that I have down right now, which is Remember to Have Fun, there's nothing wrong with this title, but I just couldn't make it work. The fun was too big and I just couldn't get the placement. I felt like the black remember was just too stark of a contrast with all of these pale and sort of pastel-y kind of colors on this layout, and so I end up changing my title out here, and you're going to see that when I come back in after I've glued down my photo, which I did pop up on Fun Foam, so everything including the florals are popped up, so I get a bit more dimension as well on the layout with that. And there you see I am back, and my title has changed to Make Time for Fun with these little white thickers. And that just made me so much happier. I don't feel like it's taking away from the florals or the photo itself. And so I definitely think this was the better way to go for the title. Here is that little extra embellishment that I said I was going to add to my page. It is just a little label, and then I have a punch, and I'm just punching another little label and layering them on top of each other. It's going to stay down there at the bottom right of my photo. I do come in off camera and I add a little bit more of a cut file down to the bottom right with that same collage look of the floral, because I felt like it was missing something. But other than that, I'm going to finish off with a few of these gold sequins, and I do add 2 little butterfly stickers to each of my embellishments, my sort of embellishment clusters, one at the top of the florals and one down here at the bottom right. And with that, guys, that's going to finish up this layout. So I hope you will try this challenge, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. So I will see all of you over in the Facebook group. Happy International Scrapbook Day, and I am so excited to be on this design team and be bringing some inspiration on using these beautiful cut files. So with that, guys, there is the final photo, and I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.